y'all, Natalie here for Cherry on Top, and for Technique Tuesday in May we are focusing on memory planning. I know a lot of us on the design team do memory planning, and you can see here I'm showing you I was going strong until March and I kind of like fizzled out. So I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna start currently and then I'm going to work my way back as well as continue to go forward. So kind of do like 2 spreads a week to kind of catch up, and I like to stay on top of it because I know that if I try to do it down the line too much, then I'm not going to get it done, right? But I have kind of figured out how I like to print my photos, the sizes and everything. I pretty much do collages on 3x4 size photos, and then I put 2 3x4s on a 4x6 and print them, and that gives me the size photos that I like to work with. So for this one, I decided to use an extra wide washi tape to kind of change the color of the header up at the top. And I'm actually going to use another washi tape to layer on top of that. And this is pretty much the only time I ever use washi tape, to be honest with you. But I don't really love using it in my scrapbooking very often. However, it is really great for memory planning. It's great to add a pop of color. It's great to add in a little tilt in. Or create a header like I'm doing here. So I die cut the, I kind of have a few elements that I continue throughout the whole layout. So one of them is this leopard stamp. I stamp this leopard stamp on every layout that I do, and it kind of just brings cohesion to the memory planner. I also use the same dies to cut the month and the dates, and the dates are cut with Heather Alpha dies and by Pink Fresh Studio, and the months are a Momenta die that I got a long time ago. I'm not sure if it is still being made. I am using Distress Oxide to stamp the leopard stamp, and I was having a little trouble getting the dies to stick on top of the washi tape, even though I'm using my Nuvo adhesive. So I am sticking something heavy down on top just to kind of make it stay down. And I started the book by using some really large alphas, and then I lost the N letter and I can't find it anywhere. But anyway, I got these other alphas, which are not as large, but they are large. And so I usually like to use them in 1 or 2 spots on every spread. And they have a little open blank to put little slogans or sayings in as well. So this is like the initials for the state park that we visited on that weekend. So I put those on there, and I think, let's see, what does the inside say? I have it right in front of me. It says, "Let's go everywhere together." So now I'm going to start sticking down the photos. I don't adhere to like keeping them within the lines. Like this camping trip was a whole weekend, so it encompasses the whole weekend on the spread here. I went through and I stamped my numbers on the blanks. And sometimes I handwrite them, sometimes I stamp them, sometimes I use stickers. I do switch that up. And I like to use a lot of ephemera in my spread. I didn't have any this week, but and I also use kind of like die cuts that are maybe laying around. So that is a die cut that my friend had sent me in a birthday package, and it was kind of laying on my desk, and I was like, well, it's pink, let's stick it on the page. And so or if I have like in the next spread I do, I'm going to add some florals. So if I just had extra florals laying around from the last layout that I do, if it matches, I'll throw it on the page. And so those are a good way to use up your scraps, and also to fill in any blank spaces. I always do like to give my eye a place to rest on the page. It doesn't always need to be completely filled with journaling or photos. So yeah. So now I'm just going through and adding additional stamping, and I'll add the journaling off screen, but I decide to stamp another large letter stamp, so it's going to say "so close," because we were doing kitchen renovations and we were so close in this week, because the next week they were finished up, which is really nice. So I'm just, stamping before I do my journaling. This is one of the ways that I use my stamps the most, is in memory keeping. There's just so many fun little sayings to put in, and usually stamps are the perfect size for this type of work, so I really like to do that. So we're done with that spread, and we're going to start on the one the week before. So the week before, the header is yellow, so we're going to go with that. I die cut some numbers and the month in another yellow pattern. And then a lot of people with the Heidi Swapp planner do the Stop the Blur class that she offers. I know myself, and I know that I would never like go in and actually do it, even if I paid for it, because I am a procrastinator. Plus, like when I'm scrapbooking, I've been on the computer working all day. So at the end of my day, I don't want to get back on the computer. You know what I mean? So this is as far as I'm going to go, which is creating a little envelope on my Cricut to cut out. And anyway, in the Stop the Blur class, I think she's been giving lots of tips and tricks on how to use envelopes in your page, because I see a lot of people doing that. So I just did one in my Cricut, and I am just using some really strong tape to hold it down, and it's just going to hold a little bit of journaling there. Next, I made it the same size as that photo that I printed out, and I cut a little tabby out from the front to be able to slide in some journaling. So now I'm going to create a couple of journaling blocks with some stamps, and I'm going to do this on separate white cardstock, and so I will cut it out and add it to the book in case I mess up. But also because it's going to overlap some of the black lines, and so then we don't have that interrupting the journaling on the page. So a lot of times with these stamps, you will need to practice. So you'll see me stamp it 3 times because I kind of like got it really messy in the middle. So it takes a certain amount of pressure for each stamp, and I was pressing down too hard. So that's a great reason why you should definitely always practice the stamp before doing it. You can directly stamp it to your planner. I still would suggest stamping onto a piece of cardstock first to make sure, because you can see there, it took me 3 tries to get the perfect amount of pressure to make the stamp look the way that I want it. Now I'm just making a little seal, which I will use to decorate the envelope pocket that I made. And these are all Heidi Swapp stamps. It's a Heidi Swapp planner. I don't know. I just love everything Heidi does. So now I'm just adding in some stars around that seal, and I'm doing like some ghost stamping, so I'll stamp it off like 2 and 3 times to get different shades of the same image. I love those cute little starbursts. So now I'm going to do another block of journaling, and again, I'm going to press down too hard here, and I'm going to get the ink in the middle, and obviously we don't want that because that's where I want to do my writing. But it was okay because I actually can use that side as like a test block for the real one over there on the right. So I'm just kind of making sure that the stamp that I want to use fits there. And I am going to use yellow and black as accenting colors in this pink journaling space. So I'm just stamping. Heidi does this a lot, like some collage stamping, I guess you would call it. Different sentiments, and then this is going to say what the journaling is about. So the journaling is going to be about our kitchen reno. So I used all the little letters from the stamp set, and that is a little tedious sometimes, but it's nice to get it customized. You know, it can say anything I want, so it's going to say kitchen reno, because it's pretty likely that you're not going to find any stamp set that says kitchen reno. But just a little subtitle there, and then I'll do my journaling handwritten, and I will hand cut this journaling block out. Oh, another subtitle there. And I always like to, overlap the stamps a little bit. That's like why I like to use like a lighter color and then a darker color. It looks nice, and I don't know, what's the word? I don't know, like, it's not intentional. It's just, almost accidental that I made it, but it looks really cool. I don't know. So I'm actually going to round the corners because I just thought that would look nice. And the corners of the Heidi Swapp's memory planner are rounded as well, so it just kind of mimicked that. So I actually ink up the edges too. Oh, yep, there I go. I ink up the edges too, and I'll do my journaling off screen at the end, but I'm going to stick it right there up front next to those 2 pictures of like our kitchen kind of in the middle. That's a little tag or ticket die that I have, and it fit so perfectly inside that. I was really excited about it. So that's going to be what I use to cut the journaling tag that goes inside the envelope. And that was the week of National Scrapbooking Day. Oh, I almost forgot my leopard stamps. We don't want that. So I'm going to use the same pink to do the leopard stamps on this week as well. I like that pink with the yellow. It looks really nice. But that's what that yellow kind of like celebratory photo is. It's like a thing I put in the Cherry on Top group one day because I was excited. International Scrapbooking Weekend is so much fun, and it happened to be on Mother's Day weekend this year. So we got to kick back, relax, ignore our kids, and play. It's hard, though, to balance between, like, do I want to scrapbook or do I want to play online? Because there's so many fun things happening online, but it's hard to pick which one you're going to do. So I'm just adhering everything down, and we're almost to the end. This is my kid's last soccer game. Oh, this is a really big Happy Mother's Day stamp, and luckily I was able to line it back up because it did not stamp well like 3 different times. And I was just being lazy, or I would have put it on my stamping platform because that would have solved this problem. But it's okay. It ended up looking fine. But I had already told myself if I had messed up the stamping directly onto the page, then I would have just covered it up with a big die cut. So that's always something that you could do. If you want to be bold and stamp directly onto your page, it can always be hidden by a sticker if you mess up. So only happy accidents. That is where my dogs got into our pantry, our makeshift pantry while we were having our kitchen reno. We were like almost done, and they finally figured out how to open the pantry and get into it. Little stinkers. So there you can see I'm using these die cuts that I just had laying on my desk from another project, and I'm terrible at cleaning up, but they actually really matched really well with the yellow and the pink. So I'm just going to layer those up in the empty spaces, and that helps fill up my page and makes it bright and sunny. Add a little tag up there because you'll be able to see that word through the little cutout. And I think we're done. There we go. Let me know if you have any questions. Memory planning is super fun, and it's a way to get those photos into a place that I probably am not going to typically scrapbook in my regular scrapbook all the time. So that is why I do memory keeping. Let me know if you have any questions, and make sure to visit Cherry on Top to get your Heidi Swapp planner if that's the version you would like. But there's all kinds of planners that you could use, and you can start at any time. You don't have to start at the beginning of the year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, y'all.